Rionette, if we could have this little get together, because normally we would kind of be able to, I guess, socialize a little bit during the competition, and for obvious reasons we can't do that. Selfishly, one of the reasons why I like to have this session is because the character that I play in the show is a bit harsh, and I just want to make sure that I haven't caused any of you any psychological problems. And if I have, I apologize, because that was certainly not the intention. I'm actually a fairly nice guy.
I can vouch for that.
No, Rionette says to me, when you're on the show, you are Judge Dredd. So yeah, unfortunately, I have a reputation to uphold. You must understand.
Of course.
This show was super nerve-wracking. I've done it for what was this now, Rionette? Was this season 7?
Well, yeah. In that seat you're number 5, but you have been on it number 7, yeah.
Yeah, and I must say I found this year to be quite challenging, just as a judge, just because of the format. Because we would have had time to kind of bump into each other in the passage, and people do generally joke around when they're in person. And I feel like you guys didn't get any of that because, everything was happening virtually. So you literally had a couple of hours to express yourself, and then just kind of, when the camera went off, that was the end of the episode. So I wish you could have experienced it differently, but you all did such an amazing job. Taking part in, I think, what was an industry first, to have a game show, which is really what it turned into this year, online. And I'm very privileged to have worked with all of you. So I just wanted to tell you that. And you're all amazing. What you did show of yourselves. Obviously, I got to know some of you a little bit better because you stayed in the competition a little bit longer. But it was an absolute pleasure, and I think you did yourselves and your companies and the industry proud. So give yourselves a pat on the back or a clap.
Yes, round of applause.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
While we're waiting for Fiona, I might as well kind of just start going through this. So my plan here is I made some notes when I was watching the episodes. It's difficult for me to remember what was actually happening. I'm going to make an admission here as well, publicly. I'd say probably 50% of the questions I was asking, I had no clue what the answers were.
Makes us feel better, Simon.
If I'd been playing, I would have been out, I think, in the first 4 rounds, never mind in the last 4. So, to get that far, I think really takes a combination of skill and obviously a little bit of luck as well. So, well done for that. But what I thought we could do is, maybe just chat about some of your experiences, look at some of the, I made some notes on what happened in some of the episodes. And of course, as we said goodbye to people, kind of what was going through your head. Before I start, anyone, impressions of this experience? Sumit?
Yeah, so for me, it was nerve-wracking, absolutely nerve-wracking. I don't even know how I got out of it in one piece, but I did. But I have to say, it made me stronger than I ever was before. I've actually went and told my bosses that I'm never going to complain that my day job is too difficult anymore after doing this. So yeah, it was a wonderful experience. In hindsight, you think about all of the trials and tribulations, and how tunnel vision can get the better of you, and you can get booted out as quickly as you got in. And yeah, a wonderful learning lesson. I would encourage anyone to do it, Simon.
Sumit, do you think, you made it really far. You really put on a good show. I mean, do you think that you would have fared differently in the face-to-face version? I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the earlier seasons.
Yeah, well, Simon, I don't want to comment on that, because when you are in that environment, that is the only time you can actually judge for yourself what's going on and where to from here and how good you can be. So yeah, no further comment in that respect.
Masachaba,
Yes.
I mean, I really enjoyed our interaction on the cell phone.
Yeah, good, thanks.
I'm in my pajamas.
Well, this is brilliant.
When you came back in, not in your pajamas, fortunately, but yeah, you had this amazing sort of bubbly personality, which I think was quite infectious, and I do think that that's one of those things that would have worked really well in person as well, although it did kind of come across on the show. But I mean, you had a couple of bumps in the road.
I did. I did.
mean, in episode 5, that was when you went overtime.
At the time, they were experiencing a similar problem to
Masachaba,
insurers.
you've gone 2 minutes over time there.
Yeah. And I came down pretty hard on you for that. So I apologize. But I mean, did you take anything away from that episode? You didn't get eliminated then, but
Yes. Okay. So I met everyone for breakfast a couple of weeks ago, and I went through the whole.
Thanks for the invite, guys. Appreciate it.
But anyway, we were, the whole lessons learned, and I've put it in the article as well. But I tend to be loud. I tend to overpower in every situation that I'm in. I don't know why, but I have this need to just kind of be the loudest voice in the room. And the takeaway is that you don't have to be the loudest voice in the room to get your point across.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, well, let's have a look here. So in you did eventually leave in episode 7, which was the discovery task. By the way, Sumit, speaking of that discovery task,
there's Simon here.
yeah. No, I can take it as much as I can dish it out. So no hard feelings there. But Masachaba, you didn't seem to show up in when it counted in that episode. What happened there?
No, I honestly, I must tell you, I had never read about trucks, anything about trucks, except maybe here and there a marine cargo claim, and I have to calculate the value of the stock lost and whatnot. But otherwise, it's something I've never been exposed to. And then my mistake was I was so wrapped up in that marsh task that I didn't prepare for the discovery one. Yeah, I did. I spent the whole night busy on that marsh task.
Yeah.
That was my biggest mistake. I didn't prepare for that one. All the other episodes I actually came prepared. And that was the one episode where I didn't prepare. So another lesson there.
Yeah, I tell you. Melissa, you had like an amazing start to the competition.
Right now we're sitting with Melissa in first place. Ozim and Melissa tied in first place.
And then we get to episode 5. And we all know, I mean, the FSCA task used to be the one right at the end because it was so tough. And you just couldn't get going.
Kevin and Melissa trying to make a comeback at the end.
What was going on? Did you not read the material? I mean, is that the...
No, I read the material. I promise I read the material. I just don't know. Like, every question, I was like, this is Greek. I have no idea. I'm going to play a guessing game right now because I was like so under panic, so nervous. And I just couldn't see the right answer. I was just like, no, I never read this stuff. It was like I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about this issue with getting the material, because we didn't do this in prior seasons, but we knew because you don't have a lot of time to prepare, you had to get the stuff ahead of time, you know, to have a good showing. But I mean, does it actually help? Because you're under pressure, you've only got seconds to make a decision. John, you're nodding your head there.
No, for sure. I think it helped me a lot. It really makes a big difference. Some of the stuff was completely new to me, and if I didn't read that material, I probably wouldn't have gone as far as I did, especially on some of the topics that is not every day, especially with the FSCA, for example. You always read the odd article here, but you don't really get into it really intensely, and that is why it really made a big difference for me.
So you could actually remember stuff when the questions were coming up.
Yeah, but I must add also the pressure, just especially where there's percentages where you know it's somewhere in the region of 60, 70%, and then Simon is giving you 61, 62, 63, 64%. There's options, and you just, yeah. But I completely is forward.
Just on the subject of the questions, I'll let you in on a little secret. May I, René? Yeah. So when we were kind of doing the filming, I'd kind of picked up that, you know, there were a couple of questions that just really didn't make sense to me. I mean, more than normal, actually. So we had this moment of panic where we realized that some of the questions that had been set up actually had the incorrect answers. So we had to quickly go away, redo all of the questions as Charmaine kind of like, while everybody was coming into the meeting room, getting ready for the episodes, sort of redoing the questions. So I think we also learned a valuable lesson there, just in terms of the prep work. So yeah, but I'm glad it was of some assistance. But while we're still with you, John, when you left in episode 6, in that Hollard one, and you'd kind of made that reference to cyber.
All right, John.
I would say for sure cheaper cyber risk insurance, as in the global risk report. This was.
I mean, why did you do that? I know everybody's talking about cyber, but what was kind of going? Would you have done it differently now?
Well, to be honest, Simon, some of the reading material that we had was on cyber, and the reading material was always. Yeah, so it was obviously worldwide, so it wasn't specific for South Africa, and that was one of the threats that was listed. So that is the one mistake that I made. But although I had 2 or 3 ideas, and yeah, I just went with that one, and unfortunately that was not the right one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that was a really tough task. I just want to check here. Was that? Has my fellow judge joined us yet? Oh, John, that was the one where you were kind of borderline with Taffy. It was just the two of you. He gave a more kind of generic answer, and you know, it kind of wasn't so focused on one particular risk, which I think was what let you down. Because it wasn't about businesses not having a cyber exposure. It was kind of like, you know, what is there on their list of priorities? And Taffy kind of managed to nail that when it counted. Taffy.
I agree.
Yes, Simon.
I mean, you had some good run-ins in getting into those last 4 episodes. But I remember in episode 7, which is the one where you actually left, before we actually announced who was going home, you just kind of dropped your head like.
The emotions are high.
Yeah, I knew.
Did you know?
I knew.
Could you have done it differently?
I knew. Yeah, I could have. It's crazy, like, especially the day even John, we went against each other. I remember calling him afterwards, trying to chat to him, because me and John, we know each other from way back. I was just checking to make sure we were cool.
Yeah, now you know why I'm making this call. Are we cool, guys? Yeah, no,
but yeah, I think things could have been differently at I showed up, because I also saw that I kind of shy away from especially the Q&A. Jeez, I've never been nervous in my life. You know, it's so funny, like when people, like when the series were being aired, right? People be telling you, I've been answering this question. These are the answers and all that. But I'm like, guys, in the moment, it's not as easy as you feel. Because you guys are only exposed to 30 minutes. All of us have been there for hours doing this thing. It was just something I was, but yeah, all things considered, I think I could have done things differently to give myself a fair shot, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, it was you had a well played game there. I see Dimitri's disappeared off the screen now. Dimitri, say something. I think MS Teams will bring you back onto it'll bring you back into the picture again. I wanted to chat to the two of you together. Firstly, congratulations, Fiona. I mean, you played an excellent game. You're absolutely a deserved winner. And yeah, I mean, I absolutely wish you the best, and I hope you can be the ambassador that we think you can be with this. So congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no,
congrats, Fiona.
The reason why I wanted to chat to you and Dimitri together, Dimitri, is your camera on?
My camera's on, Simon.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So yeah, I think the Teams grid is full. That's why it's doing it this way.
Yes.
So, Dimitri, you actually were head to head with Fiona in a vote.
I'll ask you, Anele, could you hold up your piece of paper, please? One vote for Dimitri. Kevin, could you please hold up yours to the camera? 2 votes for Dimitri. John, I'd like to see who you voted for, even though it's all academic right now. Fiona.
So in episode 5, FSCA, the 2 bottom scores are Fiona and Dimitri. And there's a vote to decide who goes out. So, I mean, how do you feel now? Because the person that you were head to head with at that time has actually gone on to win it. Could have been you, man.
Yeah, Simon, I remember it like it was yesterday, and even now I'm sitting here, I'm nervous. I'm just waiting for you to say it's time for Rapid Risk. So yeah, big congratulations to Fiona. I think she deserved to win. I watched every single episode because I was eliminated like rather early in the competition. I mean, I would have liked to go on. But I think my lesson learned was exactly the opposite of that of Matsusaba, where she should have just spoke less. I should have just done the opposite and like just stepped up. But yeah, there was just a lot of things going on that day, and I just did not pitch up. I would have hated for Fiona to be the one to leave, because when we were in our little meeting room, I told the guys, I think it's me, and you know what, I didn't step up today, so no hard feelings. I mean, I probably took it upon myself. I let myself down, so I was ready to actually leave the competition, even though it was still early, and I would have loved to stay on. But I feel like just in that moment, in that episode, I was the weak link, and Fiona deserved to go through.
Yeah, no,
I feel there was a bit of a conspiracy in that episode, and that is just that Dimitri and I are the only ones from the Western Cape.
Yeah, you want to something there, Fiona.
Well, look, I'm from the Western Cape too, so if that was true, I would have kept both of you in. So, yeah, no, thanks, Dimitri. I mean, it's never, even though it doesn't seem like it at the time, I don't like to see anybody leave the competition. And we don't know. I mean, in every episode, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to come out on top. And you're quite right. You did kind of disappear a little bit in that episode. But there are ways of doing it without kind of being over boisterous. Hey, Masichaba, overly boisterous. For instance, Anele. Because in Anele's case, I mean, there were several points where I thought she's so quiet and sort of very cool, calm, and collected, and yet landed up, you know, in that nail-biting sort of final moment in episode 8. Anele.
Or meet the standard that they're looking for. To address Sumit's concerns on insurance risks, they can purchase insurance through Hollard, who offer these great products in terms of agriculture as well as business risks for Connie.
Very good. Anele, I really want to compliment you. I thought you owned it today, especially in the Q&A section. You had some really good answers there, well thought out on your feet.
No, I mean, I have to take my hat off to you, because it's, you know, you often hear about meeting people that have a quiet confidence, and yet you were still kind of commanding the virtual room often. I mean, is this due to your training, do you think, as an advocate, or, I mean, what's your secret?
I really don't know, because everyone keeps on mentioning it, and I'm like, do you know how nervous I am? Like, I feel like I'm rattling inside most of the time. I'm like, no, but you can't see that. So it could be training, it could be, I don't know, character. So I did a lot of public speaking growing up, and you kind of know when to speak and when not to speak. But a lot of this was just off the cuff and just, I guess, reverting back to what you know. And that's what I always kind of played the game at. There was no plan though.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I must tell you something else as well. My daughter, Paige, who's in third year law, she's doing third year law in Stellenbosch, and she was like, Dad, firstly, I'm extremely upset with you that Anele didn't win. No offense, Fiona. But please, can you connect us? You are her hero. So
tell her to give me a call.
Yeah, I'll connect the two of you. But yeah, she was also just blown away, like so many people.
Yeah.
With how you kind of, you know, took control of what was often like a hectic sort of very confusing space. So. Yeah, well done and well played. I think it was the only way we could end the competition. And then I know there were lots of people for both of you. Fiona on the one side, you know, go Fee and Anele. So I mean, we certainly got the audience behind both of you. But yeah, hopefully you also go from strength to strength. I think you really did our industry proud right up until the closing moments on the show. Kevin, where art thou?
Yes.
You're still in the witness protection program.
Yes.
Kevin, you left us in episode 6.
Yes.
Answer, failing as one would expect it to. Change your strategy, Kevin. You are rooted to the bottom of the table, but it's not too late to grab those bonus points. Fiona is
kind of like, did you read the material, or I mean, did you just have an attack of nerves?
I just had an attack of nerves. But again, I didn't read all the material. So those questions, I was like, I won't lie, I was in a blank.
You just went into a blank space?
Yes.
Yeah, no, look, man, I know it's tricky, and at least when you're broking, you've got to, well, not all the time, but you have some time to kind of prepare properly for the meeting. And I guess you have the control over the meeting if you're broking as well. You know, you can kind of, you go in with an agenda, you know what you want to tell the client.
Yes.
But yeah, just you know, sort of on the note of being the mean Judge Dredd, I fashioned this character on every horrible boss that I've ever had in my 30-year career. But the reason why we keep doing it in the competition isn't just for the entertainment value, but I'm sure you've experienced this. You often find that you've got curveballs kind of thrown your way in a meeting, or you, especially if you're client facing, clients don't really want to see their brokers or their insurers. You know, it's definitely part of that grudge purchase environment, I guess. Do you guys find that? Fiona, you're nodding.
Yeah, insurance is an amazing thing because nobody really wants to pay for it until you need it. And when you need it and you haven't paid for it, it's after the fact. But it's a very difficult thing to purchase as a client because you don't know how good it is until that point that you actually need it.
Yes.
You know, so it's this dance,
like a parachute,
back and forth. Yeah, it's a dance.
Yeah.
I need it, but it's expensive. But what if I don't use it? But what if I need to use it? All these questions, and it's not, you know, it's not like me selling you a thing that you can touch and feel. You can't really feel it. Yeah. So that's where I find the perception becomes a bit of a, you know, from a purchasing point of view, becomes a problem.
Yeah, sure. Brendan, you're a broker as well, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you find your engagements with clients, have you ever encountered a judge dread?
No, not directly. So not in the sense where you put into a corner, but I mean, there's always questions that come up, and sometimes that you don't necessarily have the answers for immediately. So there's always that, you know, that curveball that gets thrown. But ultimately, it's not as bad as what it was during the competition. So yeah, clients aren't as hectic.
I mean, you put on an amazing performance. I mean, you were pretty consistent throughout the competition. And then, of course, there's that moment. In fact, before we get to episode 8, there was that moment, I think it was in the discovery task, episode 7. So it's you and Sumit on the same team. You're kind of dealing with the presentation in an informal way. And then I asked you this question about this amazing idea.
Ask you, whose idea was this trip advisor? Who thought of that? Who thought of the pothole scanning?
So it was a joint effort, I would say, Simon.
You both immediately thought of the same idea at the same time.
Oh, it was.
I'm not sure how or so.
Okay, let me repeat that. So the idea around the pothole scanning and trip advisor, how did that come about? Who thought of that idea?
Yeah, so, we were building on ideas. So it started off with telematics, and then I said, okay, can we use telematics to take photographs of the potholes? And then Brendan came in and said, okay,
so whose idea was it?
And actually monitor the entire trip, especially on long hauls.
Okay, but was there did somebody say, hey, let's do this pothole scanning thing? Who thought of that?
What was going through your mind, Brendan? I mean, did you think that I was thinking this was a bad idea?
No, not so what actually happened on the day. So I don't know if you guys realized, but I was disconnected for like a minute or so. So there was parts of that entire conversation that I missed. And then when I got back, I was like stunned. And then you guys posed the question, do I agree with Sumit? And then I was like completely blank because I didn't know what I said. So it was the most confusing. When I watched it back, I actually wanted to watch how it was going to come out, and it was like the most confusing moment for me in the entire show. So yeah, it was really.
Well, you hit it well. I mean, you did look confused, but I thought, oh no, he's playing a political game here. He doesn't want to step up and say it was his idea, just in case it was a bad idea. So you actually covered the fact that you didn't actually hear the question really well. Yeah, well done. And then, of course, episode 8.
I actually didn't consider the fact that we were actually producing these vaccines. And I think that's basically a lot of contradiction in terms of the faith as a company that you'd actually have in terms of the vaccines.
Brendan, you seem to kind of go down a road and then, in this meeting you're being asked a question and you're going, well, I hadn't really thought about that, and then changing tack and sort of going in a different direction.
Yeah, you kind of you were making suggestions and then backtracking. I think Knox was probably putting more pressure on you than I was actually. Did you learn something out of that episode?
I did. You know what? When I looked at the marsh task, I was stunned. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to think about. It was, for me, that marsh task was something else. I've never looked at alternate risk at all. I know there was some information that we received in the packs, but which I browsed through. I didn't look into detail, which in hindsight I should have. But yeah, that task was something else. For me, I think it was the nerves that really killed me because I wasn't familiar with it, the confidence was not there. And when I answered, and that's probably why I contradicted myself a lot as well, because I wasn't answering from a confident position. That was really tricky for me.
Yeah, look, that marsh task, Rionette, I mean, you'll remember when Matthew first sent us information on the task they wanted to do. This was actually option B that they used in the show because I couldn't understand option A. I was like, what is this actually about? What do you want people to do with this? And how are we going to get all of this information across in a short space of time? So they have a reputation. Rionette, do you remember that?
I remember it very well. And one of our concerns was we never knew if the game show format is going to give us the best top 10. Remember, Simon? And we were like, maybe we're going to have to ask Marsh to dumb this task down because are we going to have the best top 10? And by the Wednesday, Marsh, remember, Matthew phoned us and asked us, is everything on track? And we were like, yes, we can go ahead with a task. But yeah, I mean, it started off on an absurd level and we had to ask them to simplify it slightly, to take, I think for all the sponsors, all of them were involved previously, and time preparation of tasks, there was a lot. And we had to remind them the whole time that the task preparation time was a whole different story, and it threw them, but all of them came to the party 100%. But yeah, that was quite a challenge for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Rionette, I think you did a great job of pulling this particular crop of sponsors together because they did some amazing things. I mean, given the restrictions that you have on you with doing it on a virtual platform, up until that first episode aired, I was kind of like, geez, are we doing the right thing here? Should we just have not had a show this year and waited until we could actually do the face-to-face again? But Rionette, just really kudos and congratulations to you because this is an incredible initiative. I think I speak for all of us. We're privileged to take part in it.
Thank you.
And I think it really does bring out the best in people. So yeah, well done.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Simon. I think I might be playing some part in this, and I mean I came up with the idea sort of, but please make no mistake that none of this could happen without you particularly, and I think the team from Flash Forward. I think having them on board, they are just on another level, and with Ryan just knowing what to do in the edits, I mean I couldn't be happier. The feedback that we are getting is just on another level. I think people didn't think we're going to be able to do it. The sponsors trusted us, maybe just because they know they have walked the path with us, but I mean, it was such a risk, like you say, Simon, from the first episode. It was such a risk because no one knew what was going to happen. And I couldn't be happier with the tasks, like you say, that was set up. I mean, we had flippin' fantastic tasks. It's a real pity that we couldn't have them in real life, but we had amazing tasks from the FSCA, Hollard, Discovery, Marsh. I mean, it couldn't have been better. The sponsors were as resilient as what we were in terms of adapting their tasks. And I think with Ryan and then the end product was just amazing. Although the episodes was an hour, it's always also the longest episodes we've ever had. It didn't feel like an hour. I think the social media interaction and everyone and the amount of knowledge transfer for me was just a lot more than with any other year. So yeah, major team effort, but I am super happy with how this turned out. Goodness, because it could have gone in a whole different direction.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a success, I think. Speaking about the length of the episodes, an hour, geez, most of them felt like 4 or 5 hours to me. Do you agree, guys?
The recording was, but not the end result.
Yeah. I had somebody say to me, so I was in a meeting one Thursday at 11 o'clock or something. Someone was like, how are you actually doing this? Because you're like hosting a show and you're having a meeting. I was like, yeah, no, it takes a lot of skill. It's like, you've got to know how to operate in virtual space. So, Knox, you quietly crept into the meeting there. I'm not sure you can hear me. Are you there?
I'm here. So I thought everybody would be playing Rapid Risk first, and then I would jump in with the fabulousness.
Yeah, no, my esteemed co-judge, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Even though I know you hate me.
To ask you about though, there's this WhatsApp chat that's been brought to my attention. I see you said, I hate Judge Dredd, like hate him, hate him, hate him. Crying faces, sweating. Hope you organized counseling after this year's competition. Do you want to kind of talk me through that? I mean, hate is a pretty strong word.
Well, Simon, I think I'm in good company because after this season, all these apprentices in front of us are going to understand those sentiments.
Yeah, they're going to hate me as well.
Oh, they'll get it.
So it must have been quite difficult for you to stay on the show for, right till the end.
Not quite. I was determined to make your entire experience miserable by disagreeing with every single point you made. And I think
But you've got a different view, the content.
Whilst they definitely deserve some sort of punitive measure, and we can talk around that, I beg to differ. I'm not convinced on your choice and your option.
Of course you're not, because you never are.
I actually wanted to keep everyone in the show right up until the last episode, and Knox was like, no, Simon, you are not doing that. Fire this guy, fire that one, fire this one. So, and I had to take the heat for that,
And you have to get away with it, Simon. Yeah. But I must say, I got a lot of interesting nicknames from the show as well. So I don't know if you guys are noticing, but I'm making it a point to smile because apparently I have a very cold, ice cold demeanor. I was called Ice Queen, Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, you were the harsh one this year.
You see. My point is underlined completely. Rianette, I told you that if we brought Knox on board, people would stop hating me. And look, it's actually working.
Both right. Okay. Just no, I don't think I can do that on this, so no.
No, you did a great job. Was there a highlight in the show for you, Knox? I mean, an episode that stood out for you?
So I absolutely loved the small business episode highlight. Episode 6, I think it was. Naturally, that's my environment. But in terms of highlights, I think I'll highlight something that I didn't quite expect. And I don't think it came through in the show, but definitely behind the scenes. I don't know if the contestants know this. But I definitely had very emotional moments. And I think it comes from that being or having that experience of being on both sides of the table. And, at that point when you're firing someone, I don't know what that's like. But I can empathize with being in a position where you're aspiring to something and, this is in that moment your dream. and to have it extinguished. And there was an incident, it didn't make it on screen, obviously, where Simon fired the wrong person.
And we had to do a retake.
Yeah, you wanted to fire. Did you fire, or did you want to fire?
No, I think I made an error in episode 5.
And he fired our witness.
I didn't count those votes properly, so I got a little confused. But yes, I mean, hey, it's live TV, you know, things go.
For me, it was super emotional because I mean, we laughed it off, but in that moment, I think Dimitri was the one who was going, and you accidentally fired Fiona. And then we had to retake and actually fire Dimitri. And so he went through that twice, and I was watching his face the whole time. Dimitri, you can correct me. And my heart just sank. And literally, I was welling up with tears, and then we had a power cut. So if we had continued filming for 3 more seconds, I would have had tears dropping. So that was one of those moments where I was like, I don't think I anticipated being that emotionally vested. But I definitely felt each person's journey whilst trying to remain impartial and pick the correct person to be the winner. So that was probably the most interesting part of it for me.
Yeah, we actually, thanks for mentioning that, and apologies to you, Dimitri, and of course to you too, Fiona, for that error in episode 5. We're obviously doing a behind the scenes here, but I remember in Rionette, which season was it where we were in person? So we were sitting in a room at a boardroom table, and I dismissed someone. I think it was Keith.
Yes, I think it was.
I dismissed Keith, but there was a glitch or something went wrong in the filming. So they all had to leave the room, come back in, pretend he wasn't fired yet, and I had to do it again. It's like putting this guy through absolute hell. So yeah, but. Yeah, I do realize it's people's lives. I know it's a game, but again, you weren't online earlier, Knox, when I said I don't really get a kick out of seeing anybody go, and I certainly am not the character that I portray in the show. But yeah, we do have to get from a big group of people down to a single person. So we have to do that as expediently as we can. I really didn't like the sort of goodbye and you just disappear. It's like you really are not there anymore. Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, I'm happy to open the floor up if anybody wants to say anything before we close off. Any last words from any of you?
I want to talk. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for doing this. I don't think anyone realizes how important you and now also Knox is on this journey. Yes, I am running with the show and I'm doing the hard work behind the scenes. But literally, guys, it's a teamwork like nothing else. So from the bottom of my heart, once again, Simon and Knox, thank you very, very much for the role you play. It is, yeah, I won't be able to do it without you. I cannot see anyone else doing it, and I'm not foreseeing it. So you just stick on and be part of this team forever and ever. And then to the top 10, guys, yeah, we were nervous. We worried, are we going to get the best top 10? But the format that we worked on this year is actually the format in terms of the elimination rounds that I'm thinking of taking forward, because I think if you've got the knowledge, if you put in the work to read up, to spend time on the reading material, and to think out of the box, you are inevitably a strong person. And if we see it here, and if we see it in any other way, it's going to come out. So I'm very proud of every single person of you. I think it worked out immensely well. I wouldn't have it any other way. So thank you for the part, and for the social media guys. You have been a phenomenal team sharing your experiences, and I hope that we have a record amount of people applying, because you've really done your bit on sharing the good part. And also now remember that the magazine is out, another stunning magazine. So please make sure that you also share that with your social media posts. But thank you for being real ambassadors, because that was what we were looking for, even not only in a winner, but in the top 10. And you guys have really stepped up into that role, and I do appreciate that very much. So from my side, just a thank you. And thank you for the sponsors who's not part of this group, but hopefully they will listen. It's just a massive team effort, and I'm super happy and super proud that it was another successful one. So that's me.
Thanks, Jeanette. Anyone else? Any last words?
Well, I just want to echo what Jeanette has said. Definitely, Knox, Simon, it was wonderful working with you. And Simon, I've been watching the show, and your sarcasm is just top of class. I really had a good laugh.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not nice to be on the receiving end of it, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks, Sumit. And you, I mean, are a great competitor. I know I made fun of your excitability, but you should actually go work at Eskom, because we need energy in this country. And I think you have the secret somewhere. Yeah. So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think just to hop onto Sumit's, quickly to hop onto Sumit's point, I had someone ask me on social media, how do you keep a straight face next to Simon? That's a great difficulty, because some of those quips are just, I'm just like, how does your mind work?
Agree.
So absolutely brilliant, Simon. It was an absolute honor being next to you, and you made my first time behind the judges table absolutely phenomenal. So thank you. And to everybody else, I think just the courage to show up and to step up. Nobody quite understands until you've been in the position. So I really commend every single one of you. And I may have grilled you and given you a hard time, but I think we're just trying to apply that pressure to force the diamond in each and every one of you out. So I hope you take it that way. And I hope that now you know that you've got a deeper level of capability within you. And you really do something with that. This is fantastic exposure. And I'm looking forward to literally watching every single one of you rise and grow from this and do amazing things in the industry, because you're absolutely capable. So it is an honor meeting you. And yeah, I look forward to interacting with you in real life someday.
Well said.
So I want to say something actually about Fiona. So when I got eliminated, obviously I was upset because I wanted to win. But in retrospect, from reading what Fiona has written in the past couple of weeks through the episodes, I could not have articulated anything that well. And I think really Fiona was the best person to win. Hands down. Every time I read something that Fiona has written or I listen to her speak, I'm actually like, this is amazing. I almost said a bad word, but yes. No, really, like Fiona's amazing. No, 100%.
I agree. Thanks, Masachaba. Well done, Fiona.
I said to Brendan on one of his comments on something that I wrote, I think it was on Friday, after the come down from the announcement of winning, was it takes one to know one. And I think in this room, everybody around this table right now, virtually, because we can't be in person, it takes one amazing soul to know another amazing soul, and everybody has brought their A game. And I'm so proud to know all of you. Really, I am, and I'm so glad I met every single one of you on this journey. There were times that I was just thinking maybe I should just go home because I've got work to do, and I'm really glad I didn't go home. I'm glad I stuck with it. Yeah. So it's just been. I still can't quite believe it at times. Sometimes I feel like I'm going to wake up and it's been a dream. But all of you, you all amazing. So thank you.
Well said. Agreed.
Thanks.
Well done. Go, Knox.
Now I was just going to say, Fiona, welcome to the winner circle.
Yeah. Go for it, Dimitri.
No, I just wanted to say to Knox that I I was having my earphones on that episode, and I actually heard something in the background, and I heard you getting emotional, and yeah, I mean, as Simon said, the bye and zoom off, I think that was in that episode. It needed to happen because you would have seen tears rolling down my face if I had to stay on longer. So yeah, it was disappointing, and I could hear your emotion, and that made it even more emotional for me. So
yeah, boy, do I feel amazing right now.
Everyone loves you, Simon. Everyone who watches the show just loves Simon.
It's all about me, really. I mean, you guys are just props.
And you know, I wrote such nice things about you in my article, but they took it out. Really didn't want to see it.
They had to take out lies.
Yeah, no, you guys are under no obligation to say anything nice about me, but I did enjoy working with you. It was a great season. So yeah, amazing. And well done to all of you once again.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm hoping we can, get together for a sort of some kind of lunch or something at some point. If you're an anti-vaxxer, please get over it. Let's get it. Let's go and eat and have fun together.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be able to do that. Hopefully before the end of the year, but at the beginning of next year. And again, well done to all of you. It was a trailblazing season, never been done before, and I don't think we could have hoped for it to have worked out better. So yeah, well done, and clap, and I salute all of you.
And that's a wrap for the Insurance Apprentice Season 7. Special thanks to all of our sponsors throughout the season for making this happen. And of course, thank you to Matt and to Marsh. What a brilliant way to end the season. And to Knox, your support and of course never agreeing with me throughout this season. I really appreciate it. But thank you. Thanks for your support. And of course, to Old Mutual Insure, our studio sponsor, thank you very much. And a big thank you to our viewers for tuning in. I'm Simon Coleman, and this is me signing off for the Insurance Apprentice 2021. Until next year, be safe and goodbye.